On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Cole destroys secret government offices, Tony finds all the orbs, Ethan explores more space, and Jeff destroys things. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer your questions. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey.
What's up?
Nothing.
No?
Nothing. Just nothing.
Nothing? So, my day went a lot crazier and busier than I had expected.
That's cool.
So, it started out, I was going to go look at two houses because my wife and I are house shopping. And
what happened to the house from last week?
What happened to what house from last week?
Oh, was the storm that bad?
Yeah, I don't
tornado
remember.
And all that.
We're good.
Okay.
So, we went and looked at two houses today. Both of them are awful. I mean, not awful, but they wouldn't pass inspections.
Okay.
One of them was pretty bad. The other one wouldn't pass an inspection.
Okay.
So we knocked those houses off our list. We got home. We talked about it. We looked at a house last week, and my wife and I decided to make an offer on a house today. So
it's the one that had like the tornado warning last week?
No.
Oh.
That was up north. This is down south.
Oh.
So, yeah, and that house, while we were looking at it, somebody made an offer on it. So, that house was marked off very quickly after we went and looked at it. No, we went and looked at a house on Wednesday this week and had sort of thought we weren't going to get that house. We're going to look at some other things and then have decided to go back to that house, and we made an offer on that house. So I spent like 5 hours this afternoon dealing with realtors and mortgage companies, and it has been insane.
Cool.
So I have been nonstop all day long today. So, also joining us this week, though, we have Cole.
Not to be outdone, but not to answer my own questions. I am here, yes.
And you have a new animal in the house.
I do. Stray actually just went back towards the bedroom, so we'll see if that cat is going to stick around for a while or not.
So you recounted the whole story on the PG Plays episode for this week. So
yeah, the only thing that I haven't touched is that the cat left the house, and now the cat has come back.
The cat has officially adopted you, I think, at this point.
It came back here after the game, but before we started recording.
Yep.
One of the things she neglected to tell me until just recently was she was like, "Yeah, so this is a cat. I think this cat's like a neighborhood cat." Because this is the cat I fed a couple weeks back. Oh. I was like, I knew it. I told you if you feed this cat, it's going to want to live here. And now the cat is in the house and then working its way towards my heart.
Yep. As long as the cat's cute, that's all that matters.
I don't know that many ugly cats. I mean, those hairless ones, they take a little while to warm up to. But...
I've never warmed up to a hairless cat. I think they're just ugly.
Oh,
Period.
The things I hear about hairless cats, I cannot say on this show.
But we also have a fourth member of the show this week. Jeff is back. What's going on, sir?
Well, not a whole lot. Just getting through. Just staying busy. Working on a bunch of new projects.
No stray animals over at your house?
No stray animals. That's I do everything I can to try to keep animals away. I'm not really an animal person.
You don't just open a cupboard and there's like a random animal just in it.
That would terrify me.
I think I'd be a little worried if I opened the cupboard and just saw an animal in there. I mean, like, I've done that and seen a mouse. That's no big deal. But I mean, well, it is a big deal because I don't want mice in the house. But I've never seen a cat or anything like that just show up.
Yes, but opening opening up a cupboard and finding a magical animal is exactly how all great stories begin.
It's true. The only animal story like that I have is we went on vacation one time as a kid, and we came back, and my mom went into the bathroom, and she bent down to pick up something that looked like a belt on the ground, and it moved.
Oh gosh.
Because there was a snake in the house.
Uh,
That ain't no belt.
Yeah, belts don't move by themselves.
it became a veil after she got done with it.
No, it's slithered its way out behind
Oh.
the bathroom sink in under the house. So no snakeskin belts for us.
It was like, I've been spotted. It's time to get out of here.
They're back. My hiding place is gone. So all right. Well, Jeff, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I've actually continued playing Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Okay.
I'm getting pretty close to completing chapter 7. I think there's 15 chapters, so I've still got a little bit of ways to go. It really I'm at like 50, maybe 55 hours into the game, and I really don't feel like I've done a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because there's so many side quests. There's so many people to talk to. There's just I want to make sure that I get what I can done before I actually move the story forward, because it seems like with each new chapter, there's just so much more that gets piled on.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I've been kind of changing up the RPG flavor a little bit with playing Destruction All Stars, which just hit the PlayStation 5 this week. A nice like Twisted Metal-esque type of game.
So is this the skating / car combat thing?
Yeah, it has like 16 characters, I believe. Each one has like their own unique abilities, their own unique vehicles, and then their vehicles have abilities, and there's a bunch of different game modes, and it's very, very colorful, very vibrant, and just insanely fun. There's a couple modes that you can pretty much get in and pretty much get kicked out within like 5 or 10 seconds just because of the nature of the mode. But most of them last about 3 to 5 minutes.
So what exactly is the purpose of the game? Because I know with Rocket League, it's the car soccer. With any of the battle royale shooters, it's pretty self-explanatory. Get in, shoot everybody before they shoot you. What is Destruction All Stars?
It's kind of a combination of all those. It's like Fortnite mixed with Rocket League and Twisted Metal. There's a lot of insanity that happens on screen. You're driving around. You're essentially trying. It's like a destruction derby. So you're driving around, hitting other opponents' vehicles. The harder the hit, the more spectacular the hit, the more points you generate. There's a few different game modes. There's one mode where you're running into everybody, just doing as much damage as you can before the time limit hits. Which I think that one's called Mayhem. There's another game mode called Gridfall. And essentially with Gridfall, you have one life, and there's 15. There's you and 15 other opponents, and every I think 10 seconds, every 5 to 10 seconds, pieces of the ground fall out from underneath you. So the actual stage gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you're running around or driving around trying to knock people off and be the last one standing. Then they've got another mode, which is an 8-on-8, which is they call it Carnado. There's a little there's a tornado in the middle of the arena, and you're essentially like ramming into people. You're trying to create as much havoc as you can and generate gears, and then once you essentially with those gears, You then run into the tornado, and that's how you score your points for your team. So there's a lot of just crazy, colorful insanity that happens. It's really fun. Matchmaking hasn't really been an issue. There's not a whole lot of downtime in between modes, so I think it handles that pretty well. But yeah, it just kind of summing it up. It's like Fortnite with Rocket League with Twisted Metal. It's just trying to be fun.
Mm-hmm. So this is PS5 exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Lucid Games, and I believe published by Sony, and is currently one of the free games with PlayStation Plus.
Okay. Yeah, it looked. I don't want to say it looked interesting because when I first saw the trailer, I was very confused as to exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to get an impression based off of that first little video they showed during one of those PlayStation events.
The not E3 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like state of play videos that they do. Yeah, I was very very confused at first, and then they kind of went silent for a month or two. Like they announced that it was going to get delayed, and then they just really stopped talking about it for a couple months. And then it was like, hey, the day before it's supposed to release, here's this video, and didn't really help explain it very well. But the actual game itself is pretty fun.
Yeah, so it's good that it's fun. Do you think this is one of those games that's is it going to be a game that sticks around, or is this going to be like the PlayStation All Stars, where people are hot on it for a month and then it disappears because nobody is touching it?
It feels like one of those games that I think Sony is hoping that it's kind of an evergreen title that will last through the majority or the entirety of the PlayStation 5.
They're hoping this is their Fortnite.
Yeah, it definitely it seems like a title that they're really banking on, because there's no story mode. Well, there is, but there isn't. So it's one of Sony's own like multiplayer focused titles. And so I really think that they're really hoping that this will last. And I think a really good start is putting it on PlayStation Plus. I think it's going to be on the service for Plus for 2 months, I believe. So giving people plenty of time to, well, one, get systems or get the PlayStation app to claim the title. So I think they're really hoping that these first 2 months will get them through this year, and that they may. I don't think it's going to be like a Fortnite level, but I think it could probably be like the next Rocket League, as far as like a title that kind of starts off a little slow, but then as more people hop on, it really just continues on strongly.
Rocket League had that same sort of start where it was very slow to get off the ground, and then they made it free for PlayStation Plus, and then it sort of boomed in popularity, and it's grown from there.
Yeah, it has definitely become a force to be reckoned with, and I think Sony's hoping that they can kind of catch lightning in a bottle twice, but this time for one of their studios. But it just really depends on how they take care of it and just kind of nurture it as it goes on, because one thing is it is a PS5 exclusive, and those are really hard to come by. So I think they kind of had to put it on Plus to give it a chance to gain a player base to start out, just knowing that the landscape of the PS5 it's people can't really go into a store and find them right now. So
the PS5s are pretty thin at the moment.
Yeah.
So, Well, all right. Well, is that it for what you've been playing this week?
I did briefly play a little bit of that Balan
Oh,
something
the
Wonderworld.
Balan Wonderworld.
Ugh.
Yeah, is it pronounced Balan? Because
I,
I think it's
I
pronounced
think
bad game.
well, yeah,
I'm very hopeful that the final product is better, but unfortunately the gameplay of it is the part that's lacking the most.
yeah. The gameplay doesn't live up to that initial
Hype.
cinematic, because that opening cinematic is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Uh,
I watched that on the PS5. I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing.
and then
And
you're
then
playing
you're
an N64 game.
No, you're playing a
yeah,
Sega Saturn game.
yeah. I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting some Knights vibes, definitely.
There we
You
go.
know that makes sense, you know, because of the people that worked on this game. And then I was like, what am I doing? This,
Right?
there's these little squishy,
Tim's.
yeah, face things that are following me around
They're called Tim's.
sometimes. I I was like, there's a gear that has a counter attached to it. Curtains keep dropping. Okay, well that's and that's another thing. Like the actual like the graphics and the presentation, so amazing. It seems like you're kind of experiencing two different types of games. Like the graphics are great, the music is awesome, the presentation is great, but the gameplay seems to be the Achilles heel for this game.
Yeah, and if a game is bad to play, people aren't going to want to
Yeah,
play it. And I saw
yeah.
this week someone found a Sonic Boom style jumping glitch that lets you get up really high in places that you're not supposed to be. So,
And well, that was like the biggest complaint is like, why is jumping a fundamental part of platforming? Why is that locked to like certain costumes?
yeah.
And heck, it's not even.
And
It's like your base ability. It's not even with a costume.
Yeah, every
yeah,
character should be able to jump.
Well, most
uh,
characters.
yeah, and there was one boss that I don't even know what I was doing to damage it. I just know that I was jumping and I was in the general vicinity of the boss and it died. So I was like, "Oh, okay. I did something. Sweet. Moving on."
Yeah, it's not good when you don't know what it is that you're doing to take down a boss.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the final game, you know, maybe the demo is just holding some stuff back, but I want to like it because it does look great. The music is good. I'm hopeful, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
I would not be too surprised. There's going to be one of two things that happen. Either they're just going to release the game and it's going to die, and that's going to be it for Yuji Naka. We're never going to see another game from him
Which is
again.
unfortunate. So
Or
unfortunate that happens.
there's going to be a very lengthy delay announced very soon.
Possibly like I mean that's what happened with Halo Infinite. They showed off the game and then the fan base was like, "Wait, what's this 360 game you're showing me?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, did we say it was going to be a long next? It's coming out. We obviously think this is next year. This is. I mean, we weren't going to try to get this out for launch. So
Yeah.
I that could happen with Balan or Balan or Wonderworld.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cole, what about you? What have you been playing this week?
So I've been trying to play a game called Control.
Okay.
I've put a decent amount of hours into it. I've really enjoyed it. I could not tell you really what the game is about still.
You have the ability to throw things with your mind.
Yes, I have untapped psychic abilities that I'm on the verge of discovering why I have them. And what I can tell you so far is that I came to this secret government building, the oldest house, to get answers about my late brother,
Mm-hmm.
who appears to reside inside my head. So you go to this place to find out about what happened to him, why these agents came, and part of the mystery behind it is the only people who can find the oldest house or this government facility are people who like have a reason to find it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like you walk in, you go look, you're looking for someone because nobody's around. There's a janitor. He tells you where the boss is to go that way since you're supposedly you're applying for the assistant job. You find the boss of the area, and now you're the boss of the area.
Yep, that's
Okay.
that's exactly what happens. Is as soon as you find the guy that's in charge, he dies, and you are now in charge.
That's how it works in real life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's taught me anything has taught me. If this has taught me anything like video games has taught me, is that once you defeat the boss, you become the boss. So, I've been able to unlock several abilities. I really like the interesting aspects of it. Like, there's these objects of power that give you upgrades and stuff, but they're very strange. It's like, okay, here's a floppy disk, and at this point, I'm like, okay, when does this game take place?
Yeah.
But it's an 8.5 floppy, and it contained nuke codes from during the Cold War.
Oh.
And for some reason, it gives you the ability to, let's say that one's your push ability. And so you cleanse it and you get this push power. Or I found a safe, and this safe is floating like 3 feet off the ground. It's a heavy industrial safe, and I cleanse it, and now I can grab rocks from the ground and make a safe area, make a shield around myself. It reminds me a lot of Infamous mixed with the unlockables and everything that you would find in like an Assassin's Creed game, except that I don't have to climb.
Yeah, one of the things that I had thought when I first saw this game or heard about this game was I thought it was going to be similar, more of a Resident Evil style game, and that's not really what it is. It's much more of a psychological thriller type of thing, and I've put about 3 hours into it in the past, and I really was digging it, but ended up having to put it away for some other stuff, and I want to get back to it because I do like what was going on in the game. I liked the not knowing about things.
Yeah, it's very much a detective going through, learning like, why is it like this? What is causing this? Okay, this universe has all these strange events that happen, and there's reasoning behind it and stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot about it. It's got to be a fairly interesting game to pull me away from Destiny, and
You found the game that can pull you away from Destiny for a little while?
for a little bit. I mean, that's how Sea of Thieves was. Is it pulled me away for a little bit, but I'm still playing Destiny.
Yeah.
On the side. I did have a huge feat in Destiny that may have contributed to that as well. So for the last several weeks, pretty much the whole season since the new raid came out, I've been trying to get this rocket launcher so I could get my title and to have this really strong rocket launcher. And on the very last chance of the season, this is the last week of the season.
I thought next week was the last week.
Nope.
Oh, well, good for me.
Yeah, today
and
is,
good for you too. But you know what I mean.
Let's see. Day of recording is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So there are 2 days aside from today, left of the season, and then new content drops Tuesday. So yeah, you get 3 chances since this week is that's the challenge. You get 6 chances. So the very last chance I had to get it is the one it dropped on. So
Nice.
Cool.
I was very excited about that. I got my title, got my rocket launcher, and we're running it though because I enjoyed the raid. But excited for the new content next week.
So is it a big expansion, or is it just a little bit of a content drop?
I think it's more. It's probably like a little content drop. Their seasons are usually okay. It's the season of the Chosen, something like that.
So, yeah.
So
This is the content for the next 3 months that we'll have.
yeah. So there's seasonal content. So the new activity and the new artifact will show up, and that'll be decent. I don't think there's a raid. No, there's not a raid. There's not a raid, so there's not a big thing, but there's a in-game activity. There's new content. They're re-releasing some old strikes. When I say old, I mean D1 strikes. So it is new content. So
Okay.
it's a fair amount of new content. It's not I would say along the side of like Curse of Osiris or Warmind or Forsaken size where it's like, okay, here's 6 new planets. But it's definitely it's a medium sized amount of content because you've got the seasonal stuff and the expansion stuff. Actually, I think it's just the seasonal stuff.
Okay.
So, Control, been having fun. Vermintide.
Mm. We're getting
We
better
had
at
some fun with
Vermintide.
Yeah. I'll probably start playing some Gears 3 since that looks so, or Gears 5 since that looks so good.
Okay, that's
And
fair.
I don't know if I might hold off on Yakuza some more just because they're releasing more and more games into the Game Pass. So it's like, okay, I'll get to where I'm done in Destiny or something, and then I'll just knock all 6 or 7 games out in a row.
Cool. Very cool. Cool.
Alright.
Cool.
I think that's about it.
All right. What about you, Ethan?
Stop me if you've heard me talk about this before, but Destiny 2.
Weren't you just talking about Destiny 2?
Well, I mean, Cole was. I was
That was
enjoying
me. That was me.
Okay.
You don't sound like it all.
And since he's not stopping me, apparently I've never talked about this before.
What's Destiny?
So it's this band. I don't know.
That's Destiny's Child.
That's
Uh,
whatever Bungie does after Destiny. That would be Destiny's Child.
That's not going to cause any legal issues, I'm sure, or any confusion whatsoever.
Destiny's Kid.
No Warlock.
Destiny's Offspring. Wait, then that's just combining the Offspring and Destiny's
Offspring and
Child.
Destiny's Child.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that, but out of fear more than curiosity.
Okay, somebody needs to mash up an Offspring song and a Destiny's Child song.
We'll look into that later. But yeah, Destiny 2, like Cole was saying, the end of the season is upon us on here, and I thought I had a whole other week. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't sit around on this because I had five or six things I still had to do to get the Warden title. That's the title for this season. And so, like, once the season's up, you can't get it anymore, right, Cole? Is that, or am I misremembering?
So originally, once the season's over, your chance at that seasonal title is gone. But recently, they've said that they're actually going to keep some of the seasonal content around a little bit longer. That way, people have a chance to get it still. So, while you can still earn the title after the season's over, the dates for claiming the reward if you're trying to get the pin,
Yeah.
are a little bit sooner. So the the last chance to get the pin was the second, and then the
Oops.
last. You're supposed to. It said the deadline for earning the pin was the second, and the deadline for redeeming the code is the 9th, which didn't make sense to me. But I
Who
would
knows?
imagine
Maybe it'll work like with the jacket, where it's like you have to
exactly.
do it
Yeah.
in the first week, and here we are, like a month later, and we're getting the jacket codes, and it's like, all right, let's order our jackets.
Yep.
Uh,
Did Stuart say he was gonna get his?
I don't think he ordered one. I can't
I don't know.
confirm with him right now because he's in bed. Anyway,
Yes.
so yeah, seasonal content. What it is, there's like set objectives to do to get the title, and once that season's up, it makes it impossible to even obtain that title anymore because certain objectives are no longer able to be met because it's like, oh, maybe you can't go to this place anymore, or maybe this special event around the season is gone. So in this one in particular, we just wanted me to, or just needed me to do, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank suddenly. Various things like we had to do a certain mission, me, Cole, and Stuart teaming up together and using Hawk Moon. We all three had to use the same weapon while doing that, so that knocked out one. And that's when I think Stuart got his Warden title, because that's all he needed. So we got that knocked out for him this week. And then I had to do all the seasonal weapon stuff, where it's like, all right, get so many kills with these two seasonal weapons, and then these other three seasonal weapons, you need to get kills and specific type of kills done with them as well. So I had like 4 or 5 different things I had to do on top of each other there, and actually, I think I started on that yesterday and got it knocked out this morning.
Nice.
And I was a little worried because one of the weapons I needed, I did not have at all. And so the majority of my morning and yesterday was spent farming the locations to get the weapon required for that. It was just a scout rifle that I was like, oh, okay, I don't need this. I don't know if I may have put it in my vault. I never found it there. Or I may have gave it to another character and deleted it from there. I don't know. I just know I didn't have it anymore. And I couldn't claim it from my inventory stuff, or collections, or whatever you call that.
Mhm.
So that was my morning today. It was just finishing out that stuff, and I got the title done.
Nice.
It's not that big a deal. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to say, hey, look, I completed the stuff, and
You
I had bragging rights, and you can see it on my name.
You had an objective in mind and you finished it.
Exactly.
Titles are a huge deal. Don't let them mislead you.
I also realized I didn't have a title on at all this whole season. Whenever I got in there to check that,
I think it's because part of it is all the old titles went into the legacy place.
yeah, and the other part may have been PS5 related. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
But yeah, Destiny 2 new content dropping, I guess, Tuesday. So
Tuesday. Yeah.
So leave your PlayStation on.
So I have like another 3 months to work on getting another title, I guess.
And you'll rush to get it right at the very end.
Yeah, that's about how that works, really. I think the last one I had to rush for was called the Almighty, or the title was Almighty.
Yeah.
And I got lucky. Someone, after making some posts online, someone, Dead Cat Walking, I think so it was. He said, "Hey, join me, and I'll help you out on this." And I ended up doing that on PC. Got in there with him immediately, and then very first try we knocked out the one objective I was needing, and I was like, "All right, cool, done. Thanks, bye."
Thank goodness for cross progression in instances
Yes.
like that. Even if you can't play cross platform yet, which will be nice when they finally get it going, you can at least go in and you can get it on whatever platform you want and then use it on every other platform.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird when the crossplay hits and we see like a whole new set of guardians from everywhere appearing.
Yeah, it's going to get real crowded, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna make Stadia players have to earn their keep in Gambit now.
What do you guys say about us Stadia players?
Sony, you're not a Stadia player. You play games on Stadia, but you're not a Destiny 2 Stadia player. We all know
That's
this.
true, I'm not. No, I play that on Xbox most of the time at this point.
So what else do you play on Xbox at this point?
Dragon Quest 11.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm about I think 18 hours into the game now. I have finally gotten all 6 orbs that you need to unlock the path to Yggdrasil. So I think I'm at the point where some big things are about to really happen.
You're gonna go and stab a giant tree. That's awesome.
I hope I don't have to stab the tree.
Oh, is it not an evil tree?
I don't think it's an evil tree.
I think it's an evil tree in like Shin Megami Tensei, so that's why I assume.
In this world, it's the one that gives everything life. So
It's a giving tree.
I apparently had somehow managed to do some of these stuff out of order from the way that most people do. Because I was playing and I thought I was doing the pretty straight linear path, and I got to the point where I had found 5 of the 6 orbs that you need, and I had no idea what to do. Like, none of the party members were giving me hints about where I should go. They were like, we need to go to Arborea to go on the path to Yggdrasil, because that's the next thing that you do. But you can't do anything in Arborea until you have all 6 orbs. So somehow I skipped an orb in all of that, and I had to look up a walkthrough.
How dare you?
I had to look up a walkthrough to figure out what orb I missed. And it was literally warp back to the city that it's in, open one door, go down the stairs, and it's in a chest. That was it. There was no boss fight, no nothing to get this orb. You just found it. So, and I had somehow overlooked it because I had been to that place before, but I had not opened the one door to the place where that orb was and had to go back and find it. So, but in the process, I think I overleveled myself a little bit. Because the last couple of boss fights I've had to do went fairly easily.
Cool.
Which I'm not complaining about. But I definitely think I had to do a little bit of extra exploration. So I'm a little bit higher than the game really wants me to be. So I might have a little bit of an easier time getting through.
At least for a little bit.
At least for a little bit, yeah. Because I'm mainlining it fairly closely. I'm not doing a lot of side quests. I have done a couple, but I've been trying to stick, not really on purpose, trying to stick strictly to story progression quests.
Mm-hmm.
But haven't gone out of my way like I sometimes do to find some of the interesting side quests and things like that. So there may come a point where I'm like, you know what? I just want to put the story aside for a little bit and get rid of some of these side quests that are starting to build up in the backlog of the quest book. We'll see. That's pretty much what I do every night right now. Is I'm going through Dragon Quest. That has occupied, if we're not playing stuff together on stream or for the podcasts, I'm playing Dragon Quest right now.
Well, I mean, you really like Dragon Quest, so it's not that strange for you to play it.
It is my favorite series, and I'm finally getting a chance to put some time into this.
That's the first I've ever heard about that.
I am going to have to go back and play it again in 3D. So, because I am strictly in 2D mode. I will not.
So you're gonna play through the whole thing again in 3D?
I'm gonna play through. I'm gonna start the whole thing. I don't know if I'll end up playing all the way through.
Okay.
But I am, once I finish, I'm gonna go back and play in 3D. Even if I just use the save file that I'm on and just sort of jump around the world a little bit and explore. because I think there has been some stuff that I've missed, not really story wise, but like character wise. There have been some moments that I really would have liked to have seen in the 3D fully voiced cutscenes. So
Okay.
I forgot that they did the full 2D graphical style.
yeah, it's basically you're getting two separate games. It is the exact same story. It's all the same quests, all the same dialogue and everything, but without the 3D characters and the fully voice acted bits, you might lose a little bit of the story because of that. So, but that's it. That I've talked about Dragon Quest before. I don't want to get too deep into it, but yeah, the story is progressing pretty well at this point. I think this is about the halfway mark of the game. So, been enjoying that. But let's take a quick break here. We will come back and we'll talk about some news.
Okay, once more with feeling. I'm kidding.
On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Cole destroys secret government offices, Tony finds all the orbs, Ethan explores more space, and Jeff destroys things. We talk about the week's biggest news and answer your questions.
A lot of dedication to my Jeff. Thank you.
Why is my screen going off? Has someone messed with the power settings on my computer?
All the time.
Like every 2 minutes, my
Power savings probably been turned on or something.
my screen keeps turning off. Somebody has to have messed with the power.
Blame Jake from State Farm.
When plugged in, turn off after 1 minute. What?
The hack worked, boys.
On battery power, turn off never. When plugged in, turn off after 1 minute. I think that's backwards.
Tony, are you using a voice modulator?
No?
You sound like you're like slowed down or something. You're like, on this week's episode. You sure?
I am 100% sure.
Maybe it's me.
It's just you.
Okay.
There we go. Now my power settings are set right. That should stop that. Okay, here we go. Google this week had a little bit of sad news for some people. And that is that they have, after just a little over a year, shut down internal development at Stadia Games and Entertainment. And they are shuttering that studio.
Oh no.
Who could have ever predicted that?
They are not. Stadia is not shutting down, and they were very.
Well, not yet.
They were like, we are not going anywhere. We are still going to be a platform. You're still going to be able to buy games. We are still going forward with that roadmap of third-party games, but
We are more than happy to still take your money.
we are shutting down internal game development. And Jade Raymond, who was in charge of the Stadia Games and Entertainment Studio, has left Google.
Oof.
That's kind of going back to the predictions episode of a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I fear about Google, because I think they're also I think I heard something about their like R&D also starting to kind of see kind of a shuttering of sorts, and this is just one of the this is classic Google. I feel like they got some great talent for this studio for their first party efforts, and gave them a little over a year, and I feel like Google was like, oh, this is going to cost a lot more than we had anticipated. Making great games is a difficult business.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that I think even Microsoft has finally started to figure out that you can't just throw money at something and it be good. You have to like nurture and build and like actually develop these studios to make great games.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's I I I don't know how much longer Stadia, as far as like a Google thing, I don't know how much longer it's going to be a platform that's at least owned and ran by Google. I know that they are partnering with companies like LG to get it into their TVs,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of suspect that maybe Google is going to offload that onto LG and just kind of transition away from it entirely, and it'll be an LG thing in like a year or so. But I don't know. It's definitely not great news this week.
Yeah, in the blog post that they posted about this, they talked about partnering with people and getting the tech out to them to help them build their streaming, offerings. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
I'm hopeful that something good comes from it, because obviously competition is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we've seen a lot of strides in the streaming market over the last year.
Yeah. And I think Google helped like push that forward. I think it gave at least a decent guide for companies like Amazon to be like, oh well, if we do something similar, but this is our take on it. Plus, I think it helped put more spotlight on like Xbox Game Pass. But
Yeah.
I really don't see it lasting too much longer. Like I said, it could survive in somebody else's hands. I just don't think Google is the company willing to go the long haul on that.
I think it would be interesting to see if one of the big three would do something and try to pick up Google, because the streaming portion of Stadia works, and it works really well. Sony has struggled with PlayStation Now over the years, so it might be something that maybe Google partners with Sony, but I know Sony has deals with Microsoft to help with streaming.
With I think Azure, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to see Nintendo do it, I don't think Nintendo would ever take an offer from Google to sell them the streaming stuff, because I don't think that's really what Nintendo's interested in.
Yeah, Nintendo just they do their own thing and they print money and they're happy. They're just in their money making factories, and I think they just kind of look at it and they're like, well, you tried.
Yeah. On the flip side of this, Amazon has also been struggling with internal video game development. They've had a couple really high-profile games be canceled, and another one that has sort of seen some major issues with development in with their fantasy MMO that they're working on. This week, in what I think came as a surprise to a lot of people, Amazon announced that Jeff Bezos is stepping down as the CEO of Amazon. And the person that is taking his place, his name is Andy Jassy, and he has been a big part of getting Amazon into the video game market. I think he was previously head of Amazon's web services. And he specifically talked about Amazon and Amazon Game Studios, and has said some businesses take off in the first year, others take many years. And though we haven't consistently succeeded yet at Amazon Game Studios, I believe we will if we hang in there. Being successful right away is obviously less stressful, but when it takes longer, it's often sweeter. I believe this team will get there if we stay focused on what matters most. So it seems like while Google is stepping away, Amazon sort of wants to double down and give their game studios time to find that place in the market.
Well, there's a lot of great talent that just became free that
It's true.
they could pick up. I mean, people from like the God of War teams, Jade Raymond. Tons of talent out there now that are looking for places, and hopefully they land on their feet.
I'd love to see Amazon succeed. Like, I liked Crucible. There was some bits of Crucible that I liked, which was their team-based shooter. That game, though,
Rip.
people did not respond well to Crucible when it launched, so much that they actually took the game from being available and being downloadable to, like, you know what? If you've got it, fine, whatever. We are taking it off the market and we are going back to the drawing board. And it was just a couple months later then that they announced that they were fully canceling the game. So
I don't even play the Crucible.
we're not talking about Destiny.
Oh.
I mean, that was my first thought. I completely forgot about the Amazon game. I was like, they did something with Destiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm a big fan of Luna. I like what Luna has offered. There's some things that I would like to see them do to make the service better. I think if they try, instead of trying to be the Netflix of the video game market, I think if Amazon takes Luna more in the direction of the Amazon Prime Video type service, that is where they could be successful. They need to offer individual game sales. They need to piggyback off of the fact that they are the biggest retailer out there and leverage that in some way to get the game portion of their services as big as the other portions of them. And I think they could, because Luna works. Luna is available on just about anything you could possibly think of. Fire TV sticks and Fire TV devices are everywhere. Like they're one of the biggest streaming type devices out there. And they're cheap too, because you can get one for like $20 and plug that into your TV and you can play games on your TV with a $20 streaming stick. So
Good old streaming sticks.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was just going to kind of go in and as far as like big tech companies like getting into the gaming space, really like Sony and Microsoft are really the only ones that have either had astronomical success or at least moderate success, and it's because they stuck with it. Like Sony did not have a prolific first party output until about the PS3 era, or like towards the end of the PS2. Sony largely went in with just spending money, and then they realized that cost is getting up there, and they started to really invest in development. And I think Microsoft has got to that point. So Google and Amazon could very well, I mean, they've got the money where they could take the time to develop really solid first party output. I don't think Google necessarily is in that realm of wanting to put that effort into it, but I think Amazon definitely. I've forgotten the new guy's name already. Jassy.
Yeah.
I think. I think that is the mentality that both Google and Amazon would need to have to say, hey, we've stumbled, we've struggled, but we're in this for the long haul, and we believe in this service, this platform, We want to make exclusive games that will, make our product stand out. And I think that's the mentality, and that's ultimately the goal that you should have if you're wanting to have a successful platform or service. And that's kind of a weak point now for Google, is that since they're not making their own stuff, game development is expensive, and you need that exclusive content to make people go, oh yeah, I'll get that. And they've basically said, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I think Amazon is definitely in the right. They've got the people, they've got the mindset. I think we will see some even better things come from Amazon over the next couple of years.
Maybe Amazon has had some discussions with Square Enix about launching unsuccessful products and going back and giving them the time that they need, because Final Fantasy 14 is the perfect example of that in the game space. And Ethan, they've got a new expansion that was just announced this week for Final Fantasy 14.
They do. Endwalker. And apparently you're going to the moon in this one or something.
That's not an unusual thing for Final Fantasy games. They've gone to the moon before. So
yeah, but I mean, it was just like a really good excuse to bring back the moon's haunted meme for people, Destiny fans.
So you've played a bunch of Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I think Lang has played a lot more than I have. But so we're getting a new expansion, Endwalker. It's gonna bring a lot of new content. We're raising the level cap to 90. New regions to explore, including I can never say the names of any of these places. Oh my goodness! I'm not even gonna try on this. A new 8-person raid known as Pandemonium is also going to debut with this. There is also going to be 2 new classes. Sage is a new healing class where you have like these. I don't know what to call them. You have these things that float around beside you, like 4 gun-looking deals. It's pretty awesome looking. And the second is going to be a DPS class. Your melee DPS class, so close range.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they showed anything off for that one, because I'm not seeing. It's not mentioning anything in this report that I'm reading, and I recall watching the stream and not being able to see that either. So, but yeah, new expansion will be version 6.0, and
it'll be out in fall.
Yes.
So, and I think they have said they have no plans to stop development of Final Fantasy 14. There's going to be plenty of content after Endwalker. So, plenty more for people to do. And this is one of those games that I've always been like, I really want to play this. We've tried in the past, and the problem is I don't want to pay for an MMO and to play with other people. So far, the only way I've seen, and I think some people have said there's a way to do it, but they have like 2 completely full expansions to the game that are available for free for anybody that downloads the game.
Actually, I think it's all the way up to Heaven's Sword now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like, what, 3 expansions?
That's a lot of content.
It is a lot. But, I mean, just going off of what I remember the base information being... you can play up to level 60. You can't do any of the party stuff or any of that. Now, if someone who owns the game comes up and says, hey, you want to join my party, you can join them. You can join Link Shells. You just can't make your own. And then you have like a 300,000 cap on your guild, which isn't that big a deal up to a certain level, but later on it could be. Go ahead.
I spent about 1.5 years playing 14 for like every single day. Got all the way through like Stormblood. I was like, okay, I need to take a break.
That's the name of the one I could not remember. Thank you.
Oh,
gosh.
The samurais. They added samurai and
they added Japan to it.
mages.
Yeah.
yeah. That's but but yeah, got through that, and they added diving, being able to use your mounts underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
but
remember when
I
World
got
of
through that.
Warcraft did that too.
That's I got through that expansion. I was like, okay, I need a break. And ever since I took that what was just gonna be a short break, it led to a much larger break, and now there's like 2 or 3 expansions. I'm like, oh no, now I'm so far behind. I don't know if I
How
want
many
to get
years
back
has the
into
break been now?
that.
Long enough, right?
Yeah, that's 3 years, 4 years.
Gosh.
Wow,
Yeah, it sounds about
time
right. Yeah.
flies.
Uh,
Time flies.
and I also I forget where I read it at. I don't see it on. It might be on. No. Anyway, they're supposed to be doing PS5 beta stuff for Final Fantasy 14. I think in April.
I'm kind of one. So I know the director for 14 is the lead executive producer for 16. I kind of want, like, what is his workload? Like, what, like,
Yeah.
he's got this like 2 massive projects that he's like a key person. Like, I I wonder just what he does, like how he's splitting his time between like stuff going on with 14 and like green lighting and working on things with that, and then just like, oh yeah, here's this mainline title that if it fails, I'm gonna, like, everyone's gonna have my head on a plate.
I think a lot of the stuff for this for Endwalker got pushed back because of COVID, and so I'm going to assume some of the stuff for 16 has been going probably a little more swimmingly rather than that. I don't know. It could also been pushed back. I have no idea. So maybe his workload has been distributed differently, but because COVID, maybe it helped out quite a bit on his end. I have no way to disprove that I'm wrong or correct, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the fact that with 16, we're getting back to a fantasy looking setting
Oh
in the
yeah.
Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. That's I think it's long overdue to get back to a fantasy setting.
And don't get me wrong, like my first Final Fantasy was 7, and I like the tech future stuff on there, but there's a certain charm to the fantasy setting.
Yeah. Yeah, four is still the best for me. I love Final Fantasy 4.
It brought so much of the mainstays of Final Fantasy. Like, 4 cannot be, like, everybody who loves RPGs needs to play Final Fantasy 4.
I agree. I seem to have lost my show notes.
It's okay.
Closed the wrong window.
Speeding along here, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, what about Sonic the Hedgehog? He goes really fast. Sonic Mania is a good game.
He's blue.
Sonic
No one knows
Prime. So this is Amazon teaming up with Sega to bring you Sonic Prime, a new delivery service where you get your stuff within seconds of ordering.
I thought this was a collaboration between Sega and Nintendo, and this is actually what Metroid Prime 4 was going to be.
Oh well, that's they both go into balls and roll around.
True.
I've never thought of that. But apparently you're getting your fake news from a better source than I'm getting my fake news. Sega had vaguely teased a new generation for Sonic the Hedgehog TV stuff, and this new one's Sonic Prime.
This is like a Sonic multiverse, isn't it?
Something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I've seen very weird details left and right on this. But the main thing coming from this is the departure of Roger Craig Smith, voice actor of Sonic the Hedgehog. So he's not going to be voicing Sonic. and which people are really mad about that one, but it seems the actress for Amy is gone now as well, and so is the voice actor for Tells.
So they're getting rid of everybody, and they're just rebooting the voices for the Sonic characters.
You would think they're getting rid of everyone, but they're keeping Eggman's voice actor. And there's also suspecting that Ben Schwartz will be coming back to voice Sonic.
I mean, that seems like the most likely thing, right? Is they're going to try to unify the movie and the video game character voice.
He did a really good job in the movie. I can't see this being a bad thing, but it depends on his schedule and whether he takes that job role or not.
Yeah.
This is expected to premiere in 2022 on Netflix. It's a joint production between Sega and Wild Brain.
This is being done by the people that did the recent Mega Man cartoon.
Yes. What was that? Not Powered Up. Was it Powered Up? No, that was a PSP game.
Yeah. I don't remember what that Mega Man cartoon was called.
Anyway, while you're trying to find that out, the plan is for a 24 episode series, and it's going to be aimed at kids, families, and longtime fans.
That was Mega Man Fully Charged, by the way.
Fully Charged, okay. So you can see where I can mix that up with Powered Up, right?
Yeah.
Very, very similar. Yeah, that's.
So, well, all right. Yeah, Sonic. I'm cool with the new Sonic cartoon. I thought Sonic Boom was a really fun cartoon. Animated show.
I want to say I enjoyed it, but the only times I've ever seen Sonic Boom were like when I was sick or had that broken tooth and had a whole week of just 3 hours of sleep. So
been on drugs
yeah. So my memories of that show are kind of like, what is going on?
I thought there were a lot of really funny moments in that animated show.
I need to go and watch it, actually. Is that on Netflix or anything?
I think it was on Hulu when I watched it.
I need to sign up for Hulu.
I'll see. I can see if it's on anything.
Oh, I might be able to watch on Cartoon Network, won't I? I'll look into that. Who cares? Moving on.
So, well, all right. Before we leave, though, I thought it would be interesting to have a little discussion about one of the things that people talk about a lot is bringing back old franchises, and I thought we would each take a minute to talk about the one franchise that we would really like to see come back and what that might look like. I see people typing in the show notes as we speak. So let's just start with you, Cole. What if there was a dormant or dead video game franchise that you could bring back? What would you want it to be?
I'm gonna go with Echo the Dolphin.
Okay. I was never very good at the Echo the Dolphin games.
I wasn't either, but
I tried.
I don't think anyone was.
I don't think we have enough dolphin games nowadays.
The last Echo the Dolphin game I tried was a demo on the Dreamcast.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of annoying because you had to keep spamming a button just to move, and it was not fun. It looked great, but not fun.
No, they're not very complicated games.
Not at all, but
it's very basic. But it's a dolphin, and you're swimming, and you're doing stuff.
I think future aliens in a time chamber.
The last game I played that had a dolphin in it, I think, was Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Oh.
I didn't play that one.
And one of the transformations you could do as Kirby in that was a dolphin.
I guess I'll have to play that one.
I mean, that's a
phenomenal game. Phenomenal game.
Echo the Dolphin's a good choice. I would be interested to see what they can do with a platformer where you're swimming the entire time. We've seen some stuff like that. but you're always as a human. And you know, nobody likes underwater levels in games at all. So
No one ever.
Although Water Temple is probably the best in any of the Zelda games.
I don't know that I would agree with that. All right. Well, Jeff, what about you? What is a video game franchise you'd like to see return?
Well, I've been kind of beating the drum for this for quite some time. I would love to see at this point like a full on remake of The Legend of Dragoon. Um, I'm a huge RPG fan, which I don't know. I mean, people probably have gotten that from just my short appearances so far with procedurally generated. But I think with the modern consoles, I feel like if it got a budget that was worthy of an RPG, uh, a Legend of Dragoon remake would be phenomenal. Um, I was I was hopeful and a little concerned when the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Combat wise, not necessarily like it wasn't terrible, but I'm not necessarily a fan of what they did with the combat in Final Fantasy VII remake. Um, it just kind of it just didn't quite gel. So I was like, well, if this is kind of where like gameplay wise of like pseudo classic JRPGs from the 90s is going to go, I probably don't want any further manipulation of those wonderful memories. But then this little game called Yakuza Like a Dragon came out, and it really showed what a modern JRPG that has a turn-based battle system could do. That's fun, it's engaging, and so between the two games, I was like, well, if there's a Legend of Dragoon that has like the attention to detail, like graphically and music-wise, of like Final Fantasy VII Remake, and adopts the turn-based style that Like a Dragon implemented, it would be a phenomenal game. Especially to see like the dragoon transformations and all the magic and stuff that could take place. Like I think it would be a great standout title for modern platforms. Just kind of in the modern environment of gaming, because I know that's kind of the turn-based in modern gaming. People are just like, I mean, like why would I just be standing around and waiting and blah blah blah? But I think the system used in Like a Dragon is a phenomenal way of showing how a turn-based system can still be super fun, even up against all these like action RPGs, and just how the role-playing genre has kind of evolved into, well, every genre at this point. But that's my case for a Legend of Dragoon remake.
Okay. What about you, Ethan?
I'd like to see RoboTrack come back. Full on remake.
That's not a franchise I'm super familiar with.
I don't know if you could even call it a franchise. It's like a single game came out and that was it.
That's not a game I'm super familiar with. Like I know the title, but I don't really know a lot about what the game actually is.
I should make you play that game one of these days. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make you play that game one day.
Okay.
We'll do it all on stream so you're forced to do it.
Just like fresh. I have no idea what I'd be getting into.
That's fine with me. You'll probably like it.
It's not scary.
I mean that's a perfect experience.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's not like a not a Final Fantasy, a Resident Evil.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
I said RoboTrack, not Robotech. Gotta keep that clear.
okay.
Like There's
There's
an
no
R in
letter.
there. There's an R in there.
Yeah, Robo.
So it's a chibi Robo game. Is that what you're?
I've never played Chibi Robo, so I'm gonna say yeah.
Is this Wally the video game?
No, nowhere close to that actually.
Like I don't. Whenever I get this question posed to me, I always, the first thing I always go to is like, I want a new Drill Dozer game because I really do. That's the one. Like, I love that game on the GBA. I would love for Game Freak to go back to Drill Dozer. I don't think they ever will. It's just not going to happen.
Too much Pokemon money.
I mean,
Yeah,
they've done
right?
some other stuff besides Pokemon, even while they're making all that Pokemon money. But
What's Drill Dozer?
Drill Dozer is a platformer where you play as a girl who rides in a mech, and it has drills for arms, and you use those drills as weapons. You use them as like things to open doors, and it's just a fun little platformer where I think the organization that you're with is like a group of bandits, and you're actually like someone who's going in to rob these people of like these jewels that they have. But I love Drill Dozer. But the one game that I think I would stick with, like the role playing theme as well, and I really want Camelot to make a new Golden Sun game. Like
with feeling.
Like the two GBA games are the only ones I'm familiar with. I haven't played the DS games, so I don't know.
I think DS version like went full Pokemon or something. I cannot tell from the commercials. I was really confused as well because none of it made any sense from all that advertising.
Like Camelot's not doing a whole lot right now. The last thing they did was Mario Tennis Aces in 2018, and they have been basically relegated to being Nintendo's sports developers. And I'd love to see them get a chance to do something besides a sports title, because the last few sports titles have not been great. But they do really well with the RPGs that they've developed, and I would love to see a return of that classic GBA Golden Sun.
My take is you can never have too many RPGs.
Kimco might be the proof that maybe you can have too many RPGs, but
yeah, I mean, there's always going to be one. I mean them excluded, just taking them out of the equation. I don't think you can ever have too many RPGs.
While we wait for whatever Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is going to be, give us a Golden Sun.
Yeah. I mean, they've got the Switch that they can put it on. I mean, it's a decently powerful. I mean, still portable. I mean, they wouldn't have to reach too far outside of their comfort zone, and they've worked on the Switch before already. So
that's true.
So they got the experience. They could totally do it.
And speaking of Final Fantasy, I saw some screenshots for a mod for Final Fantasy VII, the PC version, this week.
Oh yeah, that looks amazing.
That I really want. I'm trying to find it again and I can't. They have redone all of the character models in the game, and they look amazing.
Gave them all like a real detailed anime aesthetic on there. It was really awesome to see. I think I liked it on Twitter. I'm trying to find the account.
I didn't, unfortunately. I'm trying desperately to find where this mod is because I want to get this and play through the game with this.
Okay, apparently I did not like it on Twitter.
But I guess that will be it for the show this week. So thank you once again for being here, Jeff.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Cole, for being here.
No. Thank you.
Go make sure the stray is still there.
She is asleep behind me on top of the couch.
Nice. So she has already made herself at home.
Yep.
Congratulations, you're now owned by a cat.
I know.
Exactly. And thank you very much, Ethan, for being here.
See you all next week.
If you want to reach out to us, we have new ways to do so. You can email us at procedurallygeneratedent@gmail.com. If you like what we do, you can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/pgent. Patreon supporters get the video version of the podcast a day early. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel, and we still have that famous Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.